I don't like featured walls, and I don't like white kitchens, and I don't like open concepts.
Me neither. There you go.
Give me a room where I can shut a door. Hi, I'm Kirsten Dunst. Welcome to my home.
I'm Jane Hallworth, and I helped a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Just a little.
I like old things. I like things that make me feel things. To me, it's a very emotional thing, and Jane has always understood that part of me very well. You know, we started to work together when I was 18, so I was kind of her student in a way, and she introduced me to things that I didn't even know existed.
I think we were always been really similar in that we are heartbroken and relish beautiful things. So if there's a beautiful thing, it doesn't matter the age, it doesn't matter the provenance, it doesn't matter about whether it's the most minute detail. We can both get a little teary-eyed and emotional and excited. And so I think that's where we're very similar.
Yeah, that's where we bonded.
Yeah.
Do we go? Okay. That's the ship that has traveled. Was that always a light?
It was always a light fixture.
Okay,
it's by Baguesse at Paris, and it's really beautiful. But what was amazing about it is that some of them are really, really, really over restored, and this one has shredded nails.
Yeah, we
and
like
a
the
couple
things that
broken
look a little
beads.
like
Imperfect.
Yeah. I don't want to use the word sad, but like there is something more haunting about certain things that aren't new and, you know, fixed and perfect. And
if she was glossy and new, it would just look pastiche. And the fact that she shows her age, again, is just one of the classic moments. We bought that when you were doing Marie Antoinette, and in my mind, all I could think of was the giant headpieces.
Oh,
and then I saw the film, and you had one in your hair.
I did.
And don't forget your mirror, because that's really special to your mom.
The mirror was bought by my mom in a French flea market, and she has one in her house, and now I have one of them as well. So that is a really special mirror. And when I was younger, she used to tell me that I used to dance in front of the mirror and say that the people were like waltzing in the mirror with me. So there's probably some like ghostly energy from.
It's very magical.
My grandfather Howard built ships. He also was an Olympian. Before World War II broke out, he was going to go to the Olympics for speed skating and bicycle racing. He was the fastest man on a bike in America at one point.
Get out of here.
And when he didn't, you know, bike anymore, he built ships.
So he had to go to the slowest sport.
Yeah.
Model making.
Model making.
Oh my gosh. And the longboat is so interesting because we just cantilevered it off the wall.
So
it's like it's just floating in air, and I love that. You bought that for yourself.
I did. I bought this in New York, this bathroom door, and it was in Jackie Onassis' building in her apartment. And I put it in my New York apartment, and then I couldn't sell my New York apartment with that door, so we took it back home to California, and now she lives here.
And I was like, we must frame for this door, but it also feels like it was always here, which I love.
Yeah, and she lived with Jackie O, and now she lives with me.
It seems perfectly apropos.
Great. This wallpaper is by Lake August, and I just love it so much. And I just love that old school, like just cover the entire room in wallpaper as opposed to just like, let's do one wall.
This is almost as if Garbo moved in with Ronald Reagan, and it has to be one part Texas, one part
glamour. This house is very like a European ranch house to me, a lot of it.
It is.
But I did have a pizza guy come to the door and be like, it smells like Texas out here.
Oh, I love that.
We wanted it to feel like a country road.
A country road.
Yeah.
Yep. And this played into all of that narrative for your little man, because he is such a gorgeous.
I can tell him always that his foxes, when he's like, I'm scared. Well, he's not really scared. He just wants to sleep in my bed. But that his foxes protect him. And it's fun because there's secret mice in there too.
You know what? I didn't know that.
Yeah, there is.
What the fudge?
You're
right. Yep. I didn't even know.
It took me about a year before I noticed. I was like, oh my God, there's also little mice in here.
It's like Waldo the Mouse. We had almost completed the house, and Jesse was like, I have some furniture. It's over here. Can you go and pick it up and bring it over and see if anything works? And I was a little horrified because it was last minute. Not that any of his furniture was bad, but then I unpacked that and I went, oh my goodness, because again, you come from such a social family where I knew that the nursery would be an epicenter for you.
Yes.
And that you could sit there,
read books,
and hang out with the baby.
Well, Ennis calls it his living room. He doesn't even call it his bedroom. He's like, you want to come to my living room?
I love that.
That's what he says. He doesn't call it his bedroom. This cabinet was an old Swedish? Or
It is. You know what?
I forgot.
It was in one of the oldest castles in Sweden. That was one of those ones where I was like, please buy this, Kirsten. Please trust me.
Yeah, because you're like, look at the inside. You open it up, she's like, and then look at this girl inside.
Because she's red. So she's like almost like a... like
healing up.
Yeah, she's like the Scream on the outside, and then she's like a little harlot on the inside. I love that. Like,
she's got so many good like drawers and stuff in her. Like anything secret or like random, I'm always like putting.
And you loved her immediately, but she was not inexpensive because of her provenance. But you couldn't get your hands on that now.
Sometimes you gotta go for things.
It was a really great investment. You did.
Yeah. The kitchen, where we sit today. Jane brought over this tile in a bunch of different colors. There was a green. There was this ready brick,
olive,
which I liked.
This burnt sugar.
I just liked this because it reminds me of the old brick, even though it's not, and it's cracked a little.
Yeah.
So it reflects light really interesting inside. That was the beginning of making a darker kitchen, which I love because.
Well, you picked the hero. That was the hero tile, and a lot of people, you have to like say, what do you think? And you went straight to it, and I was like, yes.
I love it.
And then we found the tile as the backsplash, and that is 18th century Majolica, but we just thought it looked like a bandana. Yes. So it had something that had like significant history.
I love the color of the bandana. It also reminds Jesse of the bandana on Gus in his favorite movie, Lonesome Dove.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
But all these stories feel so intertwined. And then don't forget the popsicle stick lamp.
Oh yeah, that lamp in the corner is made out of popsicle sticks. You'd call it tramp art, right?
Yeah.
Is that still the phrase?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the chair.
That was like one of the biggest chairs I've ever purchased for myself.
What's really funny about that now?
Fritz Henningsen. Right?
Yeah, Fritz Henningsen. It's his prototypical chair. He only did about 50. And there's a lot on the market, so most of them are not okay, like not correct. Mm-hmm. We went down into this garage where he kept all of his crazy moldy furniture, and I was like, and you're like, where are we? Because it was kind of crazy. Yeah. It was all hadn't been upholstered. And this was under a blanket, and I had been looking for one for years just because I loved it. And then you sat down in it, and I remember you almost went like really serpentine. And you crossed your leg and you went, this is the sexiest chair I've ever sat in.
Doing Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man, it was the first time I like made money, and you're like, whoa, what do you do with this? You know, you buy a house, but you're too young to have a house. And I never cared about clothing or cars, but like art and furniture, I knew I could have forever. And I also am home a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like to create a creative space that makes you inspired is cyclical, kind of like with your job, kind of in a way too.
I think you invested in yourself from a really young age. I mean, you have some things that you can't find now. And I'm really proud that you and I found them together, but also that they've lasted for as long. And what has happened is exactly what we promised ourselves, which is buy this, you won't need it ever again.
This organ Jesse bought and is possibly Brian Wilson's organ. But like...
How do you know?
Yeah.
Well, maybe Brian will see it and be like, it was mine.
That would be rad.
Let's invite him.
Sitting in the cedar soaking tub, looking up at the pine tree, it feels like you're on vacation in Big Sur.
It does, and it's in a little nook, so it feels really precious and private. And this is where David Gottschall is just like brilliant because he segmented up this property into like pastoral for the kids, and the pool is a little bit more adult, so that you can let the door open and the stoop is out there.
When I grew up in the valley, I had a backyard that had a little bit of an overgrown path in the back, and so it was really important to me that there were nooks where it felt like not at all manicured, where you could be a kid and like walk around the backyard and feel like you're getting lost in Tom Sawyer or whatever. Or like, you know, that was very important to me to have that kind of feeling for my kids because LA is a city and
you don't feel like you're in the city in your house.
I don't leave my house.
But you don't feel like you're in the city. The gate closes and it's so pastoral and lovely, and I think that it really is successful in that you feel like it's magical.
Yeah. Georgie Girl.
Georgie Girl. Pamela Weir designed the Georgie Girls. She's a California girl, CSUN educated. All I knew is that she was one of the only woodworkers that was female, and she was considered to be like the fashionista that was covered in sawdust. Wow. And so, but this is not just a Georgie Girl, this was Pamela's Georgie Girl. Yeah. When they were looking for a home for her, we were really lucky, and it's kind of half magical, like little, almost like an old music box, but more like it's got little drawers as the cuffs and the head opens up.
My son loves oopening all the little drawers.
It's always
I'm
been
like,
magical.
You can't lose these drawers. So like take it and start to walk away. I'm like, put that drawer back.
I know, it would be bad. Because it's Pamela's drawer.
Oh, I know. That drawer gets put right back. Okay.
Tub.
I mean, that's just an old cowboy tub.
It is an old cowboy tub.
Heather Taylor Home's a really popular
line of tablecloths.
Thank you. And Jane just takes them and turns them into curtains. And like, I love that she turned it into a shower curtain.
But the funniest thing is you were moving in on Christmas Day. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember from New Orleans from work.
And this was the only thing that was missing. And so I took it to all of my, like, please, I have power here. Let's get this done. Seamstresses. Everyone was like, no, it's Christmas Eve. And my sisters who are stylists, and as you know, they were like, there's this one lady and let's take it to her. And we ran it in and I said, I'll give you this much money if you do it. Oh, the condor.
Oh my God.
Her soap dish is a condor.
Well, my favorite bird is a California condor.
Yeah.
And Jane found the most FU, like porcelain California condor, but like in pale colors.
Iridescent.
It's just like a... It makes me want to say words I just can't say on a video.
It made me feel that way too.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Iridescent condor soap dish.
Yeah.
This light fixture we got at Blackman Cruise, but you're like, it's giant.
It was the first thing we bought for this house.
It was.
Because it was a giant spur. And you're like, you have to have it. And I was like...
It's a cowboy spur.
You were like, let me put it in the house. And I was like, we can never take that down. It's the coolest.
I think I did bribe you. I was like, if you don't believe in me, I'll buy it back. And you're like, no, you're fine. Get it.
It was magnificent. It was the start of the collaboration for this household.
Yes, the story was right.
A very emotional house.
It is.
My manager, Eric, whenever he comes in, he's like, this just makes me feel emotional. It's a very emotional house.
It is. I think it has so many layers, and the layers go back a long time. Mm-hmm. For the house and for us, and for your furniture.
And for my family now.
Yes. Yeah. It doesn't matter about time. It just matters about beauty and maybe not so beautiful. Yeah. And I think that's good.
All of it together.
All of it. Cocktail. Well shaken.
We really need a martini, Jane.
I know.